Helping a creature in need can be a tricky situation. Sometimes people find animals who are so hurt or in such danger that there's simply no time to try to get help from animal rescue experts. In times like these, there's almost no choice but to improvise to save the creature's life. That seemed to be the case when Crystal Kelly, a resident of Indianapolis, Indiana, noticed an unfortunate creature suffering in her yard. What she did in her desperate attempt to keep him alive may have seemed odd, but it was a stroke of genius. During one particular snowy day in January 2016, Indianapolis, Indiana resident Crystal Kelly sent her little Yorkshire Terrier, Lily, out into the backyard of her home to play and explore. While it began like any ordinary winter day for the pair, it would soon take an unexpected turn. Many dogs love playing in the snow because it's such a unique environment for them to enjoy. But it wasn't long before Crystal noticed something distracting Lily, even by the standards of such easily distracted animals. It was a bird, and the poor creature didn't seem well. But naturally, Crystal's most immediate concern was the health and safety of her and her furry friend. "Lily, you leave the birdie alone," she said firmly. "You need to come inside." Yet it soon became clear that the bird was in more immediate trouble. The poor creature was covered in ice so thoroughly that he was lying completely motionless, his wings frozen solid to his body. Crystal had to think quickly to help the bird as well as she could. Luckily, she was very crafty, and she was prepared to use all her resources to help the little creature. She put him in a bowl and covered him with a blanket as she developed her plan. Crystal had little expertise to speak of when it came to animal rescues, but she was determined to do whatever she could to help revive the suffering bird before it was too late. To that end, she brought out a hairdryer and decided to warm the little guy up. There was no question that Crystal's idea in that challenging moment was an unusual one, but she knew she had to try her best to do whatever she could to save the poor creature's life. If Crystal had simply done nothing, as many other folks in the same boat likely would have done, that very well may have spelled the end of the line for the bird anyway. She could indeed have even ignored the bird and let her dog continue to play. But with a life on the line, it must have seemed like there was nothing to lose. Little by little, with the way that the frozen bird was literally defrosting, it seemed that there might have been some hope for him yet. But it would take some time before she'd know whether he'd be okay. At the same time, with the bird and the bowl just outside the back door of her house and the hairdryer plugged in, Crystal had to be cautious as she thawed the injured bird out of the danger he'd found himself in. Initially, it didn't seem to be working. "I didn't put the blow dryer on high and warm him up too quickly," she clarified in the description for the YouTube video she posted. With a little patience and a low heat setting, something special happened. As the ice slowly melted, the bird started showing definitive signs of life. In time, he even started fidgeting and trying to maneuver his body towards the source of the much-needed warmth. More and more, the bird started to display signs of improvement. And 2 hours after Crystal had initially started trying to warm him up, he finally started moving his wings, a sure sign that he still had some fight left in him. Amazingly, the bird began stretching his legs, but then before she knew it, he was happily hopping around the ground. It was as if he couldn't handle his excitement after Crystal gave him a new lease on life. Yet one crucial question still remained. Would the bird be able to fly again? It was great that he was alive, but without the power of flight, he'd hardly be able to live the kind of life that the species was supposed to. Sure enough, it only took a few hops before the bird took flight, soaring high above the trees before Crystal and Lily's very eyes. He may not have stayed to say thank you, but surely he must have been grateful. Crystal was surprised to see that her unusual life-saving method worked, and his departure happened so quickly that she could hardly even process it. "Oh my gosh," she exclaimed as the bird darted away. She could hardly believe how fast he flew. Certainly, Crystal deserves a great deal of credit for her quick, clever thinking when it came to saving that bird's life. Had it not been for her, the little guy would have been a goner.